Hello and welcome to part 10 of the ongoing AS and A-level Python series, and in this episode we are going to be looking at lists. So we'll start by looking at what is a list, then we'll go ahead and do a couple of operations to see how you can create lists, adding items to a list, and so forth and so on. So basically a list is it's a sequence of arbitrary objects, and it is a mutable data structure, as it were. So by a sequence of arbitrary objects, we are saying that a list is actually going to contain anything that you can think of really in Python. So maybe you could have a list of people's names, you could have a list of objects, you could have a list of pretty much anything really can be represented using a list in Python. So it's mutable, meaning to say that you can change the contents of a list, right? So maybe you wanted to overwrite a particular value that you have in a list, you can actually do that using lists. So that's what we mean by saying that it's a mutable data structure. So let's actually go ahead and look at how you can create a list. So there's actually two ways in which you can go about it. So we'll look at both of them in 10. So maybe let's start by creating a list called fruits. Then we can actually, so the way you do it is you make use of box brackets. That's the first way for you to the first way in which you can create a list, right? Making use of the box brackets. Then inside of the box brackets, I can then start to list my items, as it were. So I could have apples, then bananas, then I can have I don't know if carrots are fruits, but I'm just going to put them anyway, just because I can. Then we can have dumplings. I don't even know what those are. Yeah, I think maybe that's just about it for the fruits. Then we can then have another list. Let's have another list called people, I guess. Then let's have people's names in here. So we have Anna, we'll have Beulah, we'll have Chelsea, then we'll have Darren. We can also, I think let's just have 4 names in there. I think that's okay. So this is how you can create lists using box brackets. So maybe what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you the way you can create lists using the other method. So maybe the other method, that is the one that uses the list built-in method. So maybe let me just call it combined. Then I'll just make it a list like that. So typically what this does is just is going to create an empty list. So we are going to actually use it later on when you combine the fruits and the people lists later on in the tutorial. So let's suppose that you wanted to access certain elements within the fruits list, right? How do you go about it? So lists, what happens is that when you create a list, like let's look at the fruits list right here, you realize that we have 4 items going on. Is it? So data structures pretty much in most programming languages, they start by indexing the first element. It has an index value of 0. The second element has an index position of 1, 2, 3, and so forth and so on. So suppose we wanted to print the first element, which is apples, right? We would go about it like this. So we would say print fruits, then the index position, we pass it inside of the box brackets, and let's actually just run this and see what output we get down in the console. Let me just bring down this terminal window so that we can actually see the code as we run the example there. So let's invoke the Python interpreter. Then we want to run the file that's called lists.py. Then you see right here that we get apples. Let's actually change this to maybe 3, right? And let's see what we have. So you see that we get dumplings. Again, I don't know what dumplings are, but I just put them in there. I'm not even sure if they are fruits, but yeah, who cares? Then So that's how you can access elements within a list. Then maybe we can actually go about accessing maybe one person from the list in the people list, that is. So maybe let's say we wanted to access Chelsea, so you realize that this is 0, 1 and 2. So if you wanted to print Chelsea's name onto the down there in the console, we would make use of what? Of the index position 2, and rightly so, as you'd expect, we get Chelsea there. So that's how you can access elements within a list. Now let's move on to look at how you can add new items to the list. Right, so let's suppose that we wanted to add another fruit within the fruits list. So what we can do is we take the name for the list, then we use the .append method, then we append what we want to append, that is add to the last of the to the end of the list, to the last add it as the last item in the list, as it were. So we want to add let's add oranges, I guess. If I can just type oranges just like that, then just after that operation we might just want to print the entire list really. So let's just go ahead and print fruits. Then we should see what we have. So let me just clear out the console, then run. So you realize that we get our list, right? We are now have apples, bananas, carrots, dumplings and oranges, right? So that's how you can add a particular item to a list. Then let's suppose you wanted to add a certain element, but in a particular position, right? So maybe we wanted to have another fruit coming in as the first fruit before apples. So how do we go about it? So in order to do that, we make use of the .insert method. So you type the name of the, actually let's use a different list this time around. Maybe we can just use the fruits list, it's okay. So let's do fruits insert, then let's add pineapples, right? That's going to be our first fruit. Then I'm just gonna run that, and you realize that we get I'm actually getting an error. This is because the insert method expects for you to give it 2 arguments. So one of the arguments, that is the first argument for insert, it's supposed to be the position in which you want to add the index position in which you want to add that particular element, as it were. So in this case, let me just clear out the console, then run it one more time. So you realize that I didn't print again. So we want to print fruits after adding, right? So let's clear, then run. So you will realize here that initially we get the first one after adding oranges using the append method. So append adds your element at the end of the list, whilst insert is going to take 2 arguments. So the first argument is the position in which you wish to insert that particular element. Then the second argument is the element that you want to add onto the list. So you realize that we get pineapples right here. Now pineapples is the first element, as it were. Then another thing that you can do with list is you can slice a list using the colon. So let's take the people list. So you remember that in the people list we have a couple names going on in there. So maybe let's say we wanted to group these people into 2, is it? So we want to have Anna and Beulah as the first people, or rather we want to have them as the first pair. So what we can do is we can then say people, then we slice starting from the position 0 up to but not including position 2, right? So if we go ahead and run that, you'll realize that we get Anna and Beulah, is it? So that's how you can slice a list. So basically slicing is just cutting it into 2, or it doesn't necessarily have to be always in 2. You can just slice it however you like, but remember you can actually do that by making use of the colon there. Then you can actually join 2 lists using using the string concatenation. So remember earlier on we had created an empty list called combined. Then I can actually go on to show you that it's an empty list by simply printing it down there in the console. So let's do that. Clear screen, then Python list. So you realize that this is our combined list, as it were. We have nothing in there. So instead of having nothing, what we want to do is we want to say inside of combine we want to add the fruits plus the people list. Then we print out the combined list. So coming down to the console, we'll run that, and you realize that we get this very long list, right? We first have fruits, and then we have the people's names. So that's how you can concatenate, or how you can join lists, as it were. So yeah, I think that's just about it for this tutorial. I'll see you in the next one.